So, in a few days, Spider-Man 2 will come out, and it really gave me an interest in replaying the first game and really seeing the improvements and differences that will be between the two games. And so, this will be a review, kind of, mostly just a casual discussion about the first game in the series.
Excuse me, late for work. Coming through.
Looking good, Spidey!
Hello, New York! New suit, same old me.
Now, before we go any further and really get into the discussion, I just want to mention that there will be full-on spoilers for the whole story of the first game, so you have been warned. Now, the first thing I want to mention about this game that it does very well is the characterization. The characterization is very good. How Spider-Man / Peter Parker acts, and also MJ and Aunt May and Octavius, Norman Osborn, the whole cast really act how you would expect them to act.
For you to do by yourself. Sure you can handle it?
Apparently not, judging by today's debacle.
Because I still haven't found another job.
My funds are still...
I know. It's okay.
For example, the way they portray Octavius and how you get to see both the good parts and negative parts in him. Even before he fully turns, you get to see some of the bitterness and arrogance that's within him because of circumstances, and also because of how Norman treats him. And this game talks about how they used to be like college buddies versus now where Norman's trying to basically shut down his company and
Hey, there's my favorite aunt.
take his inventions and pass them off as if they were created by him and Oscorp.
Oh, there are some heavy
No,
boxes.
no. I mean, not yet. I mean, I can't.
And the game does a good job of showing how that builds up a lot of anger and resentment in him. And I thought that was pretty well done. And another thing I thought was pretty well done is,
Are you in trouble?
say,
Do you
the
know
whole
the name?
Peter Parker versus Spider-Man, the whole alter ego thing that goes on with superheroes.
What? No, that's
That
great.
I still wish you and MJ
I feel
could work
like
this out.
in
She's
this
great,
game
though.
at
She
least,
is.
it seems like
You would make some beautiful babies.
Spider-Man is like the escape from Peter Parker's real problems.
What is it?
Because even if it's like an armed robbery or drug deal or even fighting supervillains, he's comfortable doing that.
You helping me through
Versus,
college and working
that's easy for him to do. He can handle that versus
asking for nothing.
figuring out how he's gonna pay his rent or how he's gonna try and get back with MJ or other quote-unquote real life things that everyone has to deal with. And that's something I think, it's been done before, but I think the writers did a good job with, is that superpowers don't make you exempt from having to deal with stuff everyday people deal with. Now, Mr. Negative, I like that he's in the game, and I like that he was given a big part and a big role, as he's not that popular of a character. But I really didn't find him that interesting. I thought his powers were cool, but overall, just his backstory and the thing with his parents, it just wasn't that interesting to me. I definitely think that Dr. Octopus overall was definitely the better villain, and because he had a personal relationship with Peter in this game, it made it very interesting to see how the story played out. And they kind of tried to do it with Mr. Negative, but it just didn't hit the same for me at all. And as for the rest of the Sinister Six, it was cool, but they were really just kind of cameos and just boss fights, and they didn't play that big of a role in the story. But I did like that they were there. And one thing I really liked is the backpacks you can collect throughout the city. Is a lot of them you find like parts from the first time Spider-Man fought them. Like you find the first time he fought Shocker and he broke off his suit,
Gotta have something to
and
do on
he
St.
used
Pass.
that to figure out how to beat him and things like that. This game is full of little Easter eggs and little things that really add to the overall story and universe that this game is set in, because it was a whole new universe when this game came out. And I think they did a very good job of, it's not the origin of Spider-Man, but it's the origin of this universe. And I think they did that greatly. And there's tons of references and Easter eggs in here. Like the Avengers Towers in here.
Discs, man.
I think like
This isn't
a Wakanda assembly or something.
Aw,
In one of the
rock parts
backpacks,
on
there's
the
a
Daily Bugle to go under
like
my
a good luck on your next job thing from when he was at the Daily Bugle, and one of the signatures is Eddie Brock. There's tons. There's multiple references to Daredevil, and that's just one thing that's truly great in this game, is just the polish and all the detail that's put into this game. Even things like the UI, like the little Spider-Man chibi that pops up, like if your controller disconnects, and if you look at the controls of the game, it just has a lot of charm to this game. And one thing I noticed now after playing Miles Morales is this game is it has a big like summer vibe to it, whereas Miles Morales had definitely more of a Christmas vibe to it because it took place around during the winter. And you know, that's interesting because I wonder if Spider-Man 2 is gonna have like a fall, like if it's gonna take place in the fall, because the other two games took place around where the same season they were launched. So I wonder if they're gonna do the same for Spider-Man 2. I watched some of the trailers, but not too much because I don't like getting spoiled, and they will spoil you with trailers nowadays. But the next thing, I guess I'll go to gameplay, is the gameplay is very clearly based off of two different influences, which is the PS2 Spider-Man 2 game, which was made by Treyarch, and the Batman Arkham games. And
big guy.
this game takes from both of them, and it does it very well, but it also got some issues those games have. Like, for instance, the combat, it has no lock on whatsoever. So sometimes if you're fighting a group of enemies and there's one of the big guys, I think they call them brutes, and you can't just punch them, you have to web them up or hit them with an item or something before you can punch them. And so if you're trying to target them or not trying to target them, you can easily get hurt trying to punch the guy beside him, but you end up punching him and then he counters you. And then also you have to do certain things with people have shields or weapons, and not having the lock on. And I understand why this type of combat can't have it, but at least there should at least be like an indicator of who you're gonna attack or who you're gonna web up. And I hope there's an improvement like that in the second game. One thing I really enjoyed playing this time around though is all the different web gadgets, because really the first time I played it I didn't use that many, and this time I'm using all of them, and they're very useful, maybe a little too useful.
And I lost him.
It makes
Good job, Spidey.
fighting super easy, but they are interesting and they add like just something, because the base combat by itself is not good enough to carry like a 20-hour game by itself without having other abilities. So they're really good, and like the abilities Miles has in his game, I think were even better than this one. And so I definitely hope that in Spider-Man 2 the gadgets and extra powers will be even more interesting. So I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do in that aspect. Another aspect of the gameplay though is the stealth, which I think is okay. It's decent. It really does its job as being like a change of pace, so you don't just have to fight everything. Like it's not a 20 out, like a 10 to 20 hour beat 'em up. I think a lot of people will find that boring, but I just feel like the stealth, which is clearly very influenced by the Batman Arkham games, I feel like it just fits Batman better, not just like from a character perspective, but also from Batman. It just makes sense for Batman to have things that help with stealth versus Spider-Man. It just feels a little, again, it feels serviceable. It's not bad, but it feels a little like bland to me. And we play like other like stealth games where it's like Metal Gear or Splinter Cell. It's just more like dynamics to it. There's just more, they give you more to do and more ways to interact with the enemies, and it's not really present in this game. It does a good enough job, but that's one thing I hope they improve on in Spider-Man 2. But a thing this game does excellently is the traversal, the web swinging. It's so fun. It just, I remember after beating the game when I played it on my PS4, even after I beat it, I would just cut the game on and swing around and just listen to music, because it just doesn't get old. And I'm very excited about they're adding wingsuits in the second one, well, technically the third one, but that looks really cool. And that's arguably the best, in a weird way, that's like the best thing about the gameplay. It's just moving around from one place to another. Like, it has the standard open world stuff of collecting. I mentioned the backpacks earlier. You collect those, you can take pictures of certain places. You have the little stations you can do for Harry and stuff you can do with Black Cat, but really overall, the web swinging, a lot of the game just kind of leans on how good the web swinging is, which isn't a bad thing, but I feel like a lot of the side content kind of gets away with being a little boring or not that creative, and it can get away with it because just moving from here to there is fun. And so I remember I did one of the Osborne's, the Harry stations, and I think one of them was just like swing through clouds of like toxic smoke and collect the data. And it was so, if it wasn't in this game, it would be trash. But because the web swinging is so good, it was still, you know, you basically give it a pass. But that's another thing I hope they improve upon, is the side content. For me, I think like Western RPGs, like say like Fallout and Elder Scrolls and Witcher, I think they have by far the best like side quests in all of gaming. And they have like whole storylines, characters, bosses that you like won't interact with at all if you don't do the side quests. And sometimes, actually a lot of times, for me in Fallout games, the side quest stories be better than the main quest story, and the writing's better too. So definitely something I think they can improve upon in the next game. I have some complaints, but overall I think the gameplay in this game is very good. feels very responsive, attacking, swinging. You feel very agile in this game. So that's one thing they got
Or an accomplice.
very right about the feel of this game, and same with Miles Morales, and I'm sure the same with Spider-Man 2, and just in general, Insomniac's games feel really good to play. But that's pretty much all I had to say about this game. I think overall I would give it like a B plus, which is pretty good. But I'm definitely looking forward to Spider-Man 2. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'm definitely gonna do a video like this on Spider-Man 2. I'll probably do a first impressions and then also a review when I beat it.
How many
And
people are in on this?
probably I'll also do a video like this on Miles Morales. So look forward to that in the next week or so. Thanks for watching.
Please don't screw this up.